I want to call this special commission meeting to order for Tuesday, April 30th, 2012, 4 p.m. First thing on the agenda is an executive session. Do I have a motion that we go to executive session?
Make a motion that we retire to executive session.
Second.
How long will you need, commissioners?
This one should not take more than 5 minutes.
Okay.
With a time limit of 5 to 10 minutes.
That'll work. Not to exceed 10 minutes should be fine.
And Commissioner Jones, you seconded that, correct? Motion was made by Commissioner Gonzalez and seconded by Commissioner Jones to adjourn to executive session for discussion of non-elected personnel to reconvene on or before 4:10 p.m. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Mayor George?
Aye.
Commissioner Horn?
Aye.
Appreciate it.
Move to accept the resignation of Jeff Morris with an effective date of June 1st, 2012.
So move.
Motion was made by Commissioner Edwards and seconded by Commissioner Horn to accept the resignation of Jeff Morris with an effective date of June 1, 2012. Commissioner Jones.
I guess.
Mayor George.
Reluctantly, yes.
Commissioner Horn.
It's his will, yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Bueno. That's Spanish for yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
That's,
I'd like to say something before we go on to item 3. To all the employees of Coffeyville, I know, as being the mayor, my feelings, and we do not want to, we want everything to be a smooth process. We feel that we have the best staff there is and employees around. We don't want to undermine that whatsoever. If it wasn't for you guys and ladies, it would make it very difficult for us, and you made it very easy for us because of the jobs you do. And I personally am very happy to be mayor because of you guys. So don't worry about anything. We're going to try to do our best. Now, discussion of the search process for the city manager. If you guys want to discuss that, I need to step away because I'm probably going to put my name in the hat. Okay? So Vice Mayor, you need to take over.
Okay, process, this is my first time being in a process of searching for city manager. Certainly, where do we go from here?
we need to discuss who we're going to have perform the duties on an interim basis.
Interim basis, and who would be second in command? Do we have a second
Well,
in command?
Not on the organization chart. One, I guess I'd like,
You have some
Just
input
saying
on what
that-
that would be.
no, I don't feel that that's an appropriate role for me, but I will let you know, I wholeheartedly agree with what the mayor just said, and this operation will continue to run smoothly because of the people we have. I don't think you need to rush to a decision on who ought to be an interim. I think you can give that some thought. I'm not going away right away. But this group is, I mean, we have a strong team here. They know their jobs. They will continue to do their jobs. I think the main thing you're going to need is just a point person for the public to go to as much as anything. We've already started the conversation internally about making sure we're getting all the projects listed out so nothing slips through the cracks, that it's assigned, something is assigned to everybody or everything is assigned to someone. So,
Well, I would think that we would kind of table it with thought and do some fact-finding, some thinking, for the purpose of focusing properly for a point person.
right.
That's what I think, and probably discuss it in our next meeting.
Well, we do have the ability that, we have you for a whole month at least, right?
Yes.
In that position.
Yes.
So during that period of time, we could probably, like you say, come up with a plan as to who we would like to see as a point person. Also, you indicated that you would be available for certain things, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's not as if you're going off into the dark and leaving us.
Right. Where it's appropriate, I'll continue to be a resource. I certainly will not be an interference.
So this is something, like you said, we could table it and discuss it. We already have somebody in place for a whole month,
Right.
and then we could come up with that.
And then you can think about what your options might be and and weigh those out. You've got 2 more regular meetings between now and June 1st. You can also call a special meeting at any time.
Well, with that being so, I think it's appropriate for us to say to you, Jeffrey, that you have been a good city manager. You've been on task. There's a lot of things that you've taken care of. You've grown in the process, and I've watched you grow. You're a very knowledgeable individual. You can't please all people at all times, but you were most effective as a city manager. And it's been a pleasure to work with you.
I appreciate that, but I'll also say I'm only as good as the team that's around me, and we have, like I said, the best team
You already
around,
gave
so.
accolades to the
Well,
team.
I got that.
We're talking to you right now.
But the team, in fact, it's a reflection of both sides. Good leadership develops a good team helps out good leadership too. So it's a two-way street, and we're fortunate to have that kind of teamwork in this organization.
So I wish you success
Uh,
in your new venture.
Thank you. I will miss being here. It will definitely be different. I've been coming here for almost 15 years now. But I'm looking forward to a new challenge as well, so.
Mr. City Attorney, would it be, we're going to have to make a decision as far as, are we going to go ahead and start a search for a new city manager? That's a decision that we probably need to make today.
It's a decision you could start thinking about today. You know, some options for you to consider would be whether or not you want to use a headhunter type organization to help you in the search for a new city manager. I understand the League of Kansas Municipalities has some kind of a program where they help find key personnel.
Yeah, that help screen applicants for you and gather resumes and help screen based on, if there's a certain skill set you're looking for.
I would like to see someone that's seasoned, just because of a lot of things that are ongoing, someone that is aware of how to handle situations, someone that knows finances. That's maybe somebody with 5 years, at least 5 years worth of.
Well, would it be appropriate, city attorney, to have a search committee, so to speak, to screen the applicants,
That's us.
And
That's
then,
us.
well, but I mean, even prior to us, I'd like to see involvement of more of the city, some of the city leaders and stuff in this,
I'm sorry, I disagree with that completely.
You do? Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm just throwing this out because I think it would be, the more involvement we have by certain, and that committee would be made up of people that we selected.
I select myself. I think this is one of the reasons we got elected. I really do. I mean, this is one
I
of the
just
biggest
think-
decisions we make.
Okay, that's, and you're entitled to your opinion. I'm just simply saying the more people we involve in this, the more cooperation we're going to get from everybody involved. And we got some great leaders in this city, and I would just like to see them join in the process of selecting somebody. I mean, they wouldn't select it. They would just forward the names to us. They would not be involved in selecting at all. They would just forward the names of those they thought were qualified to come before us for an interview and stuff.
I'd like to work through the league. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I'll get information from the league and see what they have available for your consideration. Jeff was hired from within the city. Before that, Mr. Alsop was hired, I think, in 1993, I believe it was.
And an external search.
That was before my term as city attorney, and yet I think that was through an external search. So.
Are we going to want to do an external search this time around? Are we going to want to do an internal search first? What are your opinions on that?
I'd like to try an external search.
Which one?
External.
I would be in favor of external, too.
I'm open. And what I would like to have is a copy of the job description of city manager,
Yes, I agree with that.
so I can
100%.
verse myself with his job again.
It might scare us.
I know, but it's imperative, and then go from there. I think it's too soon for me to say what I want and what I don't want.
It's a lot to put your head around, that's for sure. We'll try to have some options for your further consideration at the May 8 meeting.
Well, you've heard each of us explain a little of what we'd like to see.
Yeah.
So I would think that you could put together, and then at some period of time, we can select through a vote situation or what. That's what we'd like to, approach we'd like to have.
As a regular citizen, it looked easy, but after I got elected, it's like, good grief.
Yeah. It's not always a short process to fill that kind of a position either.
There's a lot involved.
Mhm.
I think we need a savant, somebody that's got a photographic memory. Jeff does pretty good. I can ask him questions, he's usually got the answer.
I have an additional concern. We're currently right in the middle of a search for a police chief. And I'm kind of curious what your, I want to just kind of get an idea of where we're headed with that.
Before we do that, are we finished discussing search process for city manager at this point? Are we finished with any other, are there any other needs?
What I heard was that Paul is going to come to us with a formula, so to speak, right?
Just so he can talk about
To what level is he going to have to recuse
Yeah.
himself from these things?
Because you're talking about a particular.
Okay, what I heard is that Paul is going to come to us with a few suggestions as to what he thinks is available and what could work and stuff. And then it'll be between us to decide which way we want to go. I mean, right, I mean, whether it be keep it whatever Don wants, Commissioner Don, or whether that's what we want an extensive search for somebody.
Well, I've heard seasoned, external, and job description
it. Are you talking about
for a search.
chief or?
Oh, no, we're talking,
No,
no, the
for
chief
city
is not on
manager.
the
Okay.
agenda. I mean,
But we have a concern here, so the external, season,
And job description.
job description, I'm open,
Right.
I'm open.
Speaking for myself, my preference would be, again, that we have a lot of people that have worked for the city a long time. And I think that we owe it to the people that already work here, at least perhaps in an initial round, to consider them first before we open it up externally. We may have nobody that's interested in it.
Well, I don't think we should separate. I think if we're going to do it, that we do it external and internal together. And that's why I wanted a search committee to go through and weed through, because there probably will be a lot of applicants.
Oh, there
And we
will.
don't want to go through that whole process. We want to see the final candidates, so to speak.
Well, I think the issue with that would be you're talking about getting input from people who would be hiring their own boss, so to speak. So if you wanted to put together a committee, you might think about other people in the community that
No,
would
I'm
serve on
talking
some
about
sort of
like-
a search committee.
Sure, I'm talking about like
Okay.
examples, some of our civic leaders, like Mike Avey from the bank,
Yeah.
and Marlon Thornburg from the college, or, some people like that. I'm not thinking about a committee of city employees.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a committee of
A
outside.
blue ribbon committee, I understand what you're saying. So that's something you all should give some thought to and give it some direction.
I guess
What is documentation of protocol in making selection?
We haven't had to go through this process in 19 years, so there's not necessarily protocol that we have to follow. I'll talk to the league to see what they recommend, and I think their general counsel was going to send me some information on what they can provide to us.
Outstanding.
That's an option for you all. Going through a professional headhunting organization might be an option for you all instead of using the league. Advertising for the position in various magazines. I mean, you could do this yourselves, but you probably want some outside help to help you screen applicants and then decide who's actually going to be conducting the interviews, and we'll get through it. It's just a lot to think about.
I think the league is a good consideration. A seriously good consideration. That's what they're for.
When I get something from them, I'll forward it to you through email.
Okay.
I guess I'm being selfish in wanting to go external because I really respect everyone here, all the staff, because y'all in your job are doing be fantastic. And I guess it's not fair to you guys, but I do. I like where you are and what you do because you can be trusted, you know your jobs, and to fill that void would be just as hard as doing this. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. So it's a compliment, really, from me to you guys. When I say external, I'm not being selfish in that. You guys would be hard to replace in the jobs you do. Every one of you, anything I've asked questions about, you're always there for me, you know, and you walk it through in simple language so I understand it, and y'all have been so good to work with. I'd hate to lose y'all in your positions, but I just want you to know I'm selfish in that. I'm not trying to be insulting, I'm just selfish, I guess.
My concern is if we have tenured employees who work for us that see no upward mobility beyond being a department head, we may not be keeping these people long.
I know that too. Like I
So-
said, I'm just being selfish in my thoughts.
My concern is that we get the best person for the
job.
position, okay?
Sure.
And if that person comes up through the interviews,
From
then we've got
outside.
the best person,
Yeah.
whether it be external or internal, okay? We'll get the best person.
Very well.
If you were thinking about involving other community members, you'd be thinking about who you'd want to serve on some sort of a selection committee as well.
Sure, well, yeah,
I don't see, you know, that's not something that needs to be decided today or perhaps even next week, but just be thinking about those things.
It sounds to me like the process is going to take a number of months. And so we, at some point in the very near future, probably at the next commission meeting, we're going to have somebody in mind to operate in an interim basis.
At least by the 2nd of June.
Well, and in my opinion, the sooner that we decide that, the better, because that person would need to be working closely with Jeff in his over the next 30 days, so that there can be as much handover of information as possible. Now, that's mitigated by the fact that Jeff's been very good about incorporating the people that we ultimately choose, the department heads and, you know, like people like Cindy and yourself and Stephanie, in a lot of the decisions and a lot of the information that's gone out. So, but still, I think the sooner that we make the decision as to who the interim's going to be, the better off we're going to be.
well, it's not as if Jeff's leaving us, though. He will be available, the way I understand it, right, Jeff? And so,
Yes.
not only the staff, but Jeff's available to us to orient this person.
Anything else? Okay. No. As it relates to the city manager, conversation, you have made mention about the police chief.
I think we should discuss that either in executive session or in regular session next time. That's not on the agenda, so you're
Okay.
confined to what's on the agenda for this special meeting.
Good enough.
I will
There's
just
no more
set your
questions?
mind at ease. There won't be any action taken prior to you all meeting again, so.
There's no more questions, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Horn and seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez to adjourn. Commissioner Edwards?
Aye?
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Horn?
Aye.